Welcome in, everybody. How are you on a Monday? Regulars to the channel are going to notice that things look a little different. We have moved. I'm in a new spot. I'm in a new house. I'm in a new zip code. Same area code, but I'm in a new zip code and things are a little different, look a little different, and it's probably going to look a little different every day. That I think is where we're going to be going with the look of things anyway. For the next couple of weeks might change camera angles. The background's going to change. Right now, basically, I just threw some bookshelves behind me, threw a couple baseball books down there. I'm repping my two teams, the Blue Jays and the Bills, behind me. We're going to put some stuff on the walls. I painted the wall yesterday. The wall was half gray, half white. Didn't look good. Fixed that up. So we're trying some things. Then also I got a new camera spot. The camera's a little bit further away. You can actually see my hands. The camera's a little bit farther away, not connected to the computer. I got everything everywhere. So anyway, that is all of that. It is going to be a little different. Bear with me through a little bit of any herky-jerkiness that might take place over the next, couple days while we get everything set up. But today, that's enough about me. That's enough about everything going on around here. Yes, we have breaking news to talk about. I guess really not breaking anymore. It was breaking maybe an hour or so ago. But the big news that we can start this week with, and there is an impact with everyone else, is that Erod has gone to the Detroit Tigers, signing a 5-year deal, $77 million to go to Detroit. We're going to take a look at that. I think in a way, this sets the market. If you're a fan of the Blue Jays, if you're a fan of the Angels, this gives you maybe a feel for their spending level and what they're valuing, because it was the Tigers, the Blue Jays, and the Angels that were in on Erod towards the end. So he goes to Detroit, really the first big name to go, turned down the Red Sox qualifying offer, goes out and gets the 5 years, the guaranteed money, and he goes to Detroit. We've been talking about the Tigers on the channel for weeks about how the Tigers are going to try to make a splash or two. This is kind of a splash. Erod's a good player. We'll take a look at Rodriguez here. We'll take a look at his numbers. And he's been a good player. He's actually, relatively, he's young. He's going to be entering his age 29 season. Missed last year because of COVID. I guess you could say he kind of opted out of 2020. But he was dealing with COVID in 2020. So he could not pitch. The Tigers are certainly going to hope that they get the 2018 and 2019 version of Eduardo Rodriguez, sort of ERA living around that 3.8 number, a 19-win season in 2019. 2021 certainly got the run support to keep that record looking decent, 13-8, but a much higher ERA than he's used to, and the Tigers fans are going to hope for. So Rodriguez, taking a look at his numbers again, you like the age, entering his age 29 season, signing a 5-year deal, so this thing will be over when he's 34. They didn't overpay. They didn't offer him a deal that was longer than he should have gotten. Good deal. This is a good deal for the Tigers, getting a good player in his prime. Expect a bounce back from Eduardo Rodriguez next year, and we have him going to the Tigers, so let's take a look at the rotation. It's coming together. Eduardo Rodriguez with Casey Mize, Tariq Skubal, Spencer Turnbull, Matt Manning, and Matthew Boyd. Matthew Boyd might be expendable now. I've been talking about Boyd as a potential trade candidate on the channel for about a week, and I think that I don't think it'll put Manning on the trade block. I think it'll put Boyd on the trade block because he's the older of the group. He is the more erratic of the group. I know this past season he posted his best ERA, Matthew Boyd did, but if you're going to pick, you got a ton of upside with Manning, Skubal, and Mize. Turnbull had a very nice season in 2021, if memory serves me correct, and you get Rodriguez. So the Tigers are saying, you know what, we're coming for the Central, and we're coming strong. They are not playing around, Michael. You are correct on that. So you like that. Chelston wants to re-sign Steven Matz. I'm with you on that. One of us puts Manning on the block. Right, we're talking about that. $15 million plus for a guy with a 4+ ERA. Mark, true, but that's just this year. We pull his stats back up real quick. His stats are listen, what they're hoping to get is the guy from 18 and 19 before COVID. He caught COVID in 2020, had a really hard time, had some lingering effects, and was in bad shape, and bounced back. Now, are those effects going to stay with him for the rest of his career and life? Meaning, what you got in 2021 is who he is now, or does he get better and he gets back to that 2018-2019 version? So Eduardo Rodriguez is the breaking news again, going to the Tigers. A decent deal here, I think. Again, 5 years, $77 million for a guy who is entering his age 29 season. You'll be done with him when he's 34. You didn't have to pay too long. Some of these pitchers, if they're 31 and you give them a 5-year deal, you're in rough shape. Listen, Tigers, this is a great deal for you. You're not going to be in a spot like some teams where, listen, you got to give them an extra year or two, even though you're going to eat it at the end because the player's not going to be the same. Eduardo Rodriguez should be, for the most part, who he has been for the life of this contract, and that is important. Again, welcome everybody that is coming in. New look, new things happening here with the channel in real life with me. We're in a new spot, so things are looking a little bit different, and things are going to continue to change. Make sure to hit that like if you are just coming in. I hope you're having a wonderful Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. My weekend was just exhausting, I'll put it that way. But I hope you guys had a great weekend, and I hope your week is off to a good start. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe if you're new. If you just find the channel for the first time, I don't know what to do with my hands. I literally don't know what to do with my hands. I'm sorry. The camera's been in a different spot. My hands, they're moving. They're free flowing. I'm sorry. I'm gonna chain them down. I apologize. AJ, I heard Correa might be going to the Tigers too. AJ, what we know is that the Tigers have checked in on all of the shortstops. They've talked with the agents for all the shortstops. They're checking in on all of them. They are interested in signing a shortstop. We've been talking about that. I think it's a serious move. If they go and get a shortstop to pair now, they got the catcher Barnhart, they got the pitcher Rodriguez. They could add in the maybe impact shortstop. Big things are coming for the Tigers in 2022 if they're able to do that. Let's see. Chad thinks the Jays can get Matz 3 for 36. Man, I think they might have to, I think if he gets 3 years, I think he's going to probably be looking for 50. He's going to try to capitalize. And the other thing is, you think about the Angels. We know the Angels need a couple starters. The Giants need like 4 starters. So there's a market out there for Matz to play teams off of one another. So I think Matz could get more than that. Let's take a look. Let's see. We start out with the Rodriguez news because that is what sort of that's the big news, the new signing from this morning. But we get back to the offseason outlook. We get back to the starters. We're going to play the same game we played on Thursday in a minute. I'm going to put up the player board, the team board. We're going to assign free agents to pitchers. I want your input on that. Before we do, though, let's take a look at really the main starters that are available. Scherzer, Gausman, Rodon, Kershaw, Verlander, Ray, Strowman really highlight the group. Then you've got the veterans that are probably maybe 1 year left in the tank kind of guys with Cranky and Kluber. And then there's a bunch of guys where it could kind of go either way. You could either be getting something really good, or maybe there's a regression, or maybe, who knows? There's a little less certainty with the next group of players. Cobb, Descalfane, Anderson, Gray, Pineda, Wood, Hill, Matz, and Peralta. Now, there are obviously more than this on the market. You got Waka, you got Anderson, Bundy, Kikuchi, Hyun Kim, Happ, Duffy, Cueto, Paxton, just to name a few. But we're going to focus on these guys. These are the players, really the biggest names that are out there, and the players that we're going to assign a team in just a minute. Let's go, and Brendan, right on. Thanks, buddy. Bills Mafia all day. Who needs a starting pitcher? Well, pretty much everyone. Everyone except the Detroit Tigers. But I could even still see the Detroit Tigers go out and sign Chris Archer for the heck of it. So everyone could add a pitcher, even if they already have 5, because you can always have depth. You can always, listen, you want to go into spring trading with 6 or 7 guys or 8 guys that could be in the mix for the rotation because you have injuries, you have regression, you have guys falling off, you have a lot of different factors that can come into play. So everybody across baseball needs pitching. There are teams that have a little less of a need for pitching. The Tigers, the Indians, the A's, the Rangers, the Marlins, Arizona, and San Diego really already have that 7 or 8 man option for their rotation. But they could still obviously use an upgrade if they wanted to, or get in the mix for some of the trades, because we are also going to talk potential trades. So everybody needs a starter. Let's take a closer look at some of the starters that are out there. We'll start with Clayton Kershaw. Entering his age 34 season, how much does he have left in the tank? It sort of looked like he was falling off a little bit a few years ago, but then he bounced back. He went to this clinic, went to this pitching farm, got it back together, got his velo back up, looked like a different pitcher. Certainly looks like the Dodgers are going in a different direction, going with Haney. They offered the qualifying offer. No, they did not offer the qualifying offer. Sorry. So Kershaw is out there, and we will see what happens with Clayton Kershaw. But Hall of Fame at this point, 3-time Cy Young Award winner and MVP. I think he still has a couple years left. The question is, what's he asking for? Is Clayton Kershaw looking for a 4-year deal? Is he looking for his final contract? Or will he take a 2-year deal? I think a lot of teams will jump in line for Clayton Kershaw on 2 years. If he's trying to work a 4-year deal to try to get him to the end of his career, that could be interesting. Though I do think there might be 1 or 2 teams that might be desperate enough to go 4, or at least go 3 with an option. Next up, we're going in no particular order here, I'll be honest with you guys. Next up, though, is Steven Matz. Steven Matz resurrecting his career with the Blue Jays last year in 2021. Pete Walker works his magic yet again, 14-7 with a 3.82 ERA. Going to be entering his age 31 season. Steven Matz is going to get a decent salary. He is not going to come on the cheap. There are too many teams that need pitching for him to be available on any kind of a discount. The only way you would see a discount is if he wanted to give the Blue Jays a hometown discount, if you will. But other than that, Steven Matz is going to get paid. He's going to work that 2021 season into a good contract. Steven Matz, and I do think you get a good pitcher. Might need to see a few other players come off the board before Matz gets his deal. We'll see, though. Next up, Robbie Ray. Maybe the best pitcher in the class. Could be the Cy Young, should be the Cy Young winner, in my opinion. Leading in strikeouts at 248 and ERA at 2.84, a 13-7 record. Remember, he missed the first couple of weeks of the season. Remember, he was carrying his child. He fell down the stairs and he hurt his elbow, and they held him out for the first couple of weeks. So 32 starts, still pretty good. So outside of that fluke injury, durable through the season. And you look at his career from 2016 to 2019, not too bad. I do see that 2018 where he only made 24 starts, but you know what you're going to get at this point with Robbie Ray. I think who he is with Toronto is who he's going to be moving forward. I hope he stays with Pete Walker. I know a lot of guys, Jays fans, Robbie Ray is right up on the top of that wish list. Bring Robbie Ray back. Keep him with Pete Walker. I think it's a certainty that he does better. If he goes to a new system and they start messing with, the pitch mix that he uses or how often he throws things, because that happens. I mean, if you don't think it happens, look what happened to Sonny Gray. He was great in Oakland. He went to the Yankees and he sucked. Why did he suck? The Yankees changed him to fit into their mentality. So Robbie Ray, go back to Toronto. That's all I'll say. Carlos Rodon is an interesting piece. Really turned his career around in 2021. Changed the pitch mix. I believe it was, if I'm remembering right, he ditched the sinker. I'm trying to remember. I did a whole thing on it, but that was 6 or 7, 8 months ago. But he changed the pitch mix, changed how he was throwing, what he was throwing, when he was throwing it, and it turned into a nice season for Rodon, a 2.37 ERA. Did spend some time hurt. You're looking at his numbers. He's really never made it through a full season, has never made 30 starts in a year. 28 is the high water mark from 2016. So the injury worry for Rodon is out there. Biggest name on the market, you think? Max Scherzer? Maybe. What he did when he went to LA, showing no signs of slowing down. 7-0 when he went to LA, over 11 starts down the stretch. Another Cy Young, multiple Cy Young Award winner, 3-time Cy Young winner, a Hall of Famer, looking for his 200th win in the 2022 season. Where he goes, we will hypothesize in a few minutes, but Max Scherzer certainly going to be looking to win another championship. He's a big game pitcher. No reason for him to go anywhere other than a destination where he could be pitching in the World Series next year. Next up, Marcus Strowman. Going to be entering his age 31 season, and he's a good pitcher. You know, he's got the Gold Glove. He's been an all-star. I don't understand how he's just so reluctant. I mean, the run support, 61-60 at this point in his career with a 3.63 ERA. He's just had some really bad luck. But Marcus Strowman is a big name that's out there. He's going to be looking to cash in because this is his opportunity to make big money. This is Marcus Stroman's opportunity to make big money, to lock in a 4 or 5 year deal. Max AAV. This is his opportunity to make his big payday. Next up, Justin Verlander. Coming off of not pitching since 2019. Did not pitch in 2021. Coming back from the injury. One start in 2020, so we haven't seen him since 2019. Verlander, I think, probably lands somewhere in that $25 million range and probably gets a 1-year deal, maybe 1 year with a club option. Verlander is going to be an interesting case to see what happens. Does he get the 1-year deal? Does he get the 2-year deal? Is it a 1-year deal with a player option, a club option? What happens with Verlander is going to be interesting. Had the showcase, apparently did well, 25 pitches. I believe it was between 94 and 97 miles an hour. Verlander was firing it, so appears to be in good shape. But, one worry that some teams may have in the back of their mind is what if he just kind of runs it out there and doesn't have it when he's facing live hitters after missing essentially 2 years coming off an injury. Could be a 1-year deal, Sean. Very well could be. I mean, Verlander, if you're looking at a 1-year deal, could go almost anywhere. All right, let's keep things going here. We're going to look at 3 more starters, and then we're going to get into the prediction game. Next up, Anthony Descalfane. I kind of like what Descalfane did for the Giants this year. 13-7, 3.17 ERA. In my opinion, at the All-Star game, was one of the biggest snubs. Descalfane, I think you're getting something good with Descalfane, and I think he will be in a spot where you might be able to get him for a decent salary. I don't think you'll have to back up the truck for Anthony Descalfane in any shape or fashion. Descalfane should be able to come at a decent price, considering some of the other names that we've talked about. On the other side of the spectrum, Kevin Gausman will probably not come at a decent price. I think Kevin Gausman is going to be pushing $20 million a year after this season with a 2.81 ERA, 14-6. I understand the second half numbers were not that great for Gausman, so that is sort of his sticky point, is that he did not have a good second half. So what does Gausman do? How does he perform? Do teams hold that against him? I think Gausman's going to get a decent payday coming into this offseason. And then the final pitcher we'll take a look at, Jon Gray. Jon Gray is maybe the most fascinating man with an ERA over 4.5 in this whole free agency mix. With the Rockies, how would he pitch outside of Colorado? entering his age 30 season, so he should still have some good years left in that arm. He's pitched well for Colorado. He gets wins. He's coming out of Colorado after 7 years of Colorado, 53-49. So where does John Gray go? John Gray was having a decent year, had a tough second half. Was mentioned at the trade deadline. The Rockies pulled him off, said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to keep him. He wants to be here. Lo and behold, he's an unrestricted free agent. So we move on. John Gray puts us to bed on the player stats. And we will get into, let's move something around here. So we move on from John Gray. We are going to get to the player board. So we are going to take a look at where everybody we just talked about might wind up. So let's keep it moving. Let's get right into it. And you guys, this is the participation portion of the program. You guys have to bear with me. I'm battling a bitch of a cold. So we are going to put up the player board. We got the names. When we get to the first name on the board, it's going to be Max Scherzer. I want you to hit where you think he's going to go. And if you're watching the replay of this, comment where you think. Obviously, you can't comment with everybody, but pick a name and where do you want that player to go if you're watching the replay. So let's get the player board up. There we go. Player board. We're going to start with Max Scherzer. Comment in the chat, where do you see Max Scherzer going? Everybody's on the board. National League is on the left. The American League is on the right. Give you guys a second, and then I'm going to put where I think he's going to go. We've got Angels, LA, couple of LA votes for Max early. Keep them coming. Lots of Dodgers, lots of Dodgers. Vince, you're going to change it to the Dodgers. Dan, you have him going to the Angels. Diego to the Dodgers. Renan Cruz to the Dodgers. J.H. Axis. So the consensus is he's staying in L.A. And I think, whether it's the Angels or the Dodgers, I agree with you. I think he will be staying in L.A. I think that he will wind up going back to LA. I think Scherzer goes back to the Dodgers. They are going to pass on Scherzer. Andrew Heaney is not going to be their only starting pitcher move. I think Scherzer goes back to the Dodgers. 2 or 3 year deal. 2-year deal with with a third year for an option sounds about right. So I've got Scherzer going back to the Dodgers. Again, he is going to want to be somewhere that he could pitch in the World Series. And the Dodgers are going to be a handful of teams that will be in the mix to be in the World Series. Let's move on to Kevin Gausman. Where do you have Gausman going? Comment in the chat with me live. Where do you see Gausman going? I have my feeling, but you guys might change my mind. Hit me with the Gausman. Combat, you want to see Scherzer to the Cardinals. I would only think that'd be a 1-year deal, though. I don't know if the Cardinals would shell out for multiple years. That would be my thing about Scherzer, and I think Scherzer wants to get a couple years out of this. Vince, Sam, wow, a lot of Giants right out of the gate there. Ty, you've got him going to the Angels. A lot of Giants. Chelston to the Blue Jays. I don't want to see Gausman back in the American League East. He didn't do well there before. I don't want to see him again. Giants, Angels, Jays, Boston. Boston's not a bad idea. Giants, Yankees, Blue Jays. A lot of Giants. Back to Giants. Gausman to the Expos. Let's do this. I am with many of you. I think Gausman goes back to San Francisco. I think he stays there. I think he goes back. It worked well twice actually. He had a nice 2020 season there as well. So it's working. Your career's finally on track. Don't mess with it. Keep it going. Gausman back to San Francisco. The Angels are a very interesting mix, and we do have one of these players here on the sort of top left going to the Angels. So if you're feeling Angels, we're going to see one here in a couple of minutes. Make sure to hit the like, everybody. If you're hanging out, commenting in the chat, enjoying the content that we're doing, enjoying the video, hit that like. It's a great way to support what we're doing and to really, keep me back, keep me doing it. If you guys are liking it, then we keep doing this. All right, let's get to the next one. It's Carlos Rodon. We just talked about Rodon. Looked like he turned things around in 2021. Where's he going to go? Comment in the chat. Where do you want Rodon to go? Cerrutos, you've got him. Gausman saying with San Francisco. I do too. Let me know what you think about Rodon. Where's he going? Johnson Family Farm Johnson. Hello, what's going on? How are you on a Monday? Rodon to the A's. But Brendan, I don't see the A's spending that money. I actually think the A's might try to trade Manaya. Oscar Infante with the sub. Thank you for subscribing, Oscar. Welcome to our community and welcome to Ballcap Nation. Chelsea, you've got Sox. Alex, you've got Angels. Sam, you think the Astros? Astros are an interesting mix. That's not a bad idea. I don't know if the Astros would spend the money. I guess it just depends on what Rodon goes. We talk about Eddie Rodriguez setting the market. That deal that Rodriguez got, 5 for 77, Rodon might be able to turn that into something similar. We got some Cubs, we got some White Sox, we got a couple A's. I just don't think the A's are going to spend the dough. I'm going to pick Rodon to the Astros. A lot of Astros. That's interesting. I might change this, but for right now, because you guys are intriguing me with this Astros talk, I think he's going to go to the Cardinals. I don't know why, but Rodon to St. Louis. The Cardinals are they're one of those teams that they don't necessarily have a great need at starting pitcher, but they could use an upgrade. They could use some depth, and Rodon gives them that. He gives them somebody at the top to move those 4-5 guys, into more of a competition for the 4-5 as opposed to here it's yours. Rodon adds a lot to the top of the rotation. And you can have Rodon and Flaherty, a nice righty-lefty combo. So I like Rodon to go to the Cardinals. Benny Biceps has subscribed. Benny, welcome, my friend. And also Mark, welcome. Thank you both. Benny and Mark coming in at the same time. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to our community. And welcome to Ballcap Nation to the two of you. Let's keep it going, Clayton Kershaw. Here we go. We know he's not going back to the Dodgers. We know. And Simply Fog, you got a lot of Cubs talk for Rodon. That could happen. I'm still on the side where I don't think the Cubs are going to spend a ton of money. I think next year the Cubs could get very active. I'm of the belief that the Cubs will make some depth moves, but I don't know. The Rodon thing, I could go the complete other way. Kershaw, where's he going? Where is he going? We've got Yankees, we've got Rangers, we've got Houston. Oh, I can't see him going to Houston after the whole thing. Rangers, Angels from Sean, Rangers. So we have a lot of love for the Rangers for marketing reasons. The Rangers certainly could do that. It's a lot of money, and again, I don't think it's going to be a 1-year deal. I think he's going to try to get 2-3 years out of this thing. The Rangers are an interesting play. The Rangers will certainly be a team that surprises people, but I still think that Kershaw is going to want to have a chance to win. He's going to want to go somewhere that they can win, and it's probably a team that's desperate to win. Do you see where I'm going? A team that has a chance to win. They have a lot of the pieces, but they're desperate. Can anybody guess where I'm going with this? It's an American League team. I am going to say he goes to the Angels because they'll spend the money. They need pitching in the worst way. Last year they needed to do it, and they got Bundy and Cobb. No, it was okay. Cobb was fine. But go get the guy who has pitched in the postseason, has the experience, upgrades the rotation. The Angels, in my opinion, need 2, maybe 3 starters. Kershaw could be a big one. So I feel like it's an Angels play here. He could stay in LA, the LA area. I don't want any Angels fans to be like, the Angels don't play in LA. I know. The area. So Kershaw stays in the area, and he is pitching with Ohtani, and the two of them are at the top of that rotation. He hates Ohtani. Yeah, but if the Angels have the money, I think he could get it. I think he could get over it. Let's go to Verlander. Where do you guys think Verlander is going to go? Comment for Verlanders. Mariners are desperate. I think that there's a few things the Mariners could do. We can talk about the Mariners in their starting pitcher in a minute. So let's get some votes for Verlander. Where do you got him going? We got Red Sox. We got Houston. We got Mets. Red Sox or Tigers, Angels, Seattle, Jays. The Jays could, if the Jays don't get Robbie Ray back, then I think the Jays are a legitimate suitor for Verlander because it's a one-year situation. Yeah, you can throw 25 million at him, but it's for a year. And Verlander could look at it like, I could win here. Verlander's only going to go somewhere that he could win. Red Sox are interesting. Red Sox are an interesting move now with Rodriguez gone. The Red Sox, Benny Biceps, I see you there. Rodon, Alasso Whippo, Diego, I see you guys with the Red Sox. That's an interesting idea. Things change a little bit. Houston is certainly going to be in the mix. I do think that the Red Sox will be in the mix as well, but I feel like the Yankees make the play. I feel like they go and they get him. They spend the money. They need to upgrade their rotation. The Kluber thing didn't work out. $11 million was on the books last year for Kluber. That is now off the books, and I think that there's a fit there. Boston is very intriguing, though. That's an interesting idea. Dan LeBlanc, Verlander to the Braves. That could play, but they got to get Freddie Freeman locked in first. Some of the teams, they have something to do before they get Verlander. And Verlander needs to make his decision on the qualifying offer in like a minute. Like Verlander doesn't have a lot of time to wait around on the qualifying offer. So some of the teams that have priorities, have something else that they have to do first, might miss out on Verlander. The Yankees have nothing to do. The Yankees can just sign him. The Braves need to bring back Freeman. The Blue Jays need to figure out about Robbie Ray. The Red Sox, I guess the Red Sox are in similar fashion to the Yankees. They could just go sign him. They don't have to worry about messing around with anything. Let's get to the next name on the board. Robbie Ray. Where is Robbie Ray going to go? We ran a poll yesterday on the channel about Robbie Ray, who he will pitch for in 2022. Fansided set odds. They had Blue Jays at plus 100. Angels at plus 250, Yankees at plus 350, Mets at plus 500, White Sox at plus 750. We got 3,600 votes on the poll. 55% said Blue Jays, 20% Angels, 12% Yankees, 7% Mets, and 5% White Sox. Where do you guys in the chat with me now, where do you see Robbie Ray going? We've got Blue Jays, Angels, Jays, Mets, Blue Jays, Diego with the Angels, AJ, Mark, Sean, Youngster, Big Boy, Hassan, Sam, Chelston. A lot of Blue Jay love. Ty with San Fran, Chimera with the Mets. Combat, the Blue Jays are crazy if he's not the number. I agree with you. I think it's got to be Robbie Ray. Get Robbie Ray done quick, and then try to focus on Semien, because I think Semien's market, with the amount of teams that could be looking to make the upgrade, Semien could take a little bit longer to get done. Ty, San Francisco, if they don't get Gausman back. Dan, you like Ray to the Astros. That's a sneaky, interesting piece there. Muse Bandit, what's going on? Muse Bandit, you like him to go to the Red Sox. Pure Phantom to the Jays. Matthew, Blue Jays or Red Sox. But as a Phillies fan, I would love to get him, but I don't think that's happening. Phillies, I think, are going to address the bats. I don't know why. The bullpen and then the bats. Let's do it. Where are we putting Robbie Ray? My feeling is that Robbie Ray will end up back with Toronto. You got your career back on track. You're working with Pete Walker. As long as Pete Walker is there and he resurrected your career, stay. Don't mess around. Stay in Toronto. He should be their number one priority. A top-of-the-line rotation guy. They're hard to get. You got that with Robbie Ray. You have Robbie Ray with the rest of those starters. You've got the front of your games covered. You've got the back of your games covered, because I think the bullpen for the Jays, the 7, 8, 9 innings are good. Just do it. The team falls together right if you do that. All right, let's get to Zach Greinke. Where does Greinke go? Does he retire, or does Zach Greinke find somewhere to land? I think Greinke finds a 1-year deal. I think he's a depth play. You guys comment where you think Greinke goes. I'm going to put Greinke on Atlanta. Feels like a 1-year deal move. Smiley's gone. I think you bring Greinke back. I like Greinke to Atlanta. Kansas City's an interesting deal. With him starting his career there, could finish his career there. Greinke 1 year and an option to the Cardinals combat medic. Once in this scenario, once the Cardinals have Rodon, their rotation, they're set. Michael, right? If you can't beat them, join them. Angels. I actually think the Angels will do better. We're gonna have another pitcher on this list going to the Angels in a few minutes. Greinke to the Mariners, that's interesting. Yeah, Dan, that's interesting. Brew Crew, Sean, yeah, I think Milwaukee could use some depth just to add another arm. That's an interesting piece. Yeah, it just feels like it's a Brave thing. Just go jump on with a team that just won the World Series. Maybe you could be back there next year. Let's get to Strowman. He's a big one. All right, this is probably the other big name on this list. Where is Marcus Strowman going to go? Comment. Where do you see the Stro show going? Yeah, exactly, Apple. That's exactly what I'm thinking. He's your fifth starter, your long relief guy. He's going to go try to latch on with the team for one more year, try to win a title. So I don't think Greinke stretches it. And if it can't, if that opportunity doesn't present itself, then I think Greinke just retires. For Strowman, we've got a lot of love for Angels. David Knight, welcome in. Good to see you, buddy. Tommy, you want him in Boston. Astros. Strowman to the Padres. I don't think the Padres, Robbie, you are a Padres fan. I can't see him doing it because the Padres have so much money. They've got to trade Gausman. There's so much that they have to do. I know the Padres were in the mix for Scherzer at the trade deadline. We all thought, right? It was reported that he was going to the Padres, but the problem was that was just for the rest of that season. They weren't locking into a long-term contract. A lot of Angels love here. A lot of Angels love. Here's my feeling on this. I can't see the Angels landing both Kershaw and Strowman. So that's the issue. I don't see them getting both. I think the Angels spend the money to get Kershaw, and then I think they make another solid move. But I think they make their big move with Kershaw. If Kershaw does not end up with the Angels, I love the idea of Strowman to the Angels. If Kershaw doesn't go there. If Kershaw ends up, let's say, in San Francisco, I love the idea of Strowman to the Angels. Here's what I'm thinking. My feeling is he ends up back with the Mets. I think he ends up back with New York. Big market. He likes pitching in a big market. He's a big game pitcher. He wants the spotlight on him. The Mets should be better next year. Get it right. I think the head coach situation was a mess. I think Rojas was the wrong guy for the job. And I think Strowman goes back to the Mets. And the Mets need him, in my opinion. I feel like it's a Mets move. Good call, Strowman. Back to the Jays. If the Jays don't get Robbie, that could very well play. That is the thing. There are domino effects, obviously. This we're doing on November 15th. The only pitcher, big name pitcher, that has come off the board was Eduardo Rodriguez. And that does have me rethinking some of the Boston picks. But I'm not going to change anything yet because I do still think Boston has a move. We're going to get to a Boston move here in a couple picks. So I do think that there is a Boston play. But like we just talked about, if Kershaw goes somewhere else, I love Strowman to the Angels. If Robbie Ray, let's say Robbie Ray goes to San Francisco, I love Strowman to the Blue Jays. There are options. Now, I think if Strowman goes to the Blue Jays, I think Randall Grichuk has to go, right? Because don't Strowman and Grichuk have an issue? So you gotta say bye to Randall Grichuk if Strowman's coming over. But interesting ideas there. And again, we will have to revisit this when even one of these guys make a move. If Gausman goes somewhere, if Rodon, Kershaw, Ray, this whole thing changes if one of them goes to a different spot. Let's get to the next name on the list, Corey Kluber. Comment where you think he's going to go. He feels to me like a one-year deal, a chance to win. I feel like Kluber, again, you comment. Let me know where you think Kluber's going to go. I'm going to put Kluber on Tampa. Tampa needs to add a starting pitcher, but they're not going to spend a lot of money. They're not going to get roped into a long-term deal. But they need a starter. Corey Kluber has the experience. He's going to probably take a one-year deal, just like he did with the Yankees. Corey Kluber's going to want a chance to win. The Rays aren't going to want to spend the money. It just fits. It just fits. And I think Corey Kluber has a little more to offer than Cranky. So I feel like Kluber could end up with the Rays, or he could be sort of a depth play for some of these other teams like the Angels or the Indians, Zachary. So, but we do have in a couple more pitchers, we do have an Angels move. We do have, coming up, we have a move for the Reds. We have a move for the Red Sox. We have a move for the Giants, the Phillies, the White Sox, the Angels, the Astros, and the Twins. We still have moves for those teams to come. Out of the players that are on the right, those are the teams that we're going to assign. San Francisco, Philly, Chicago, LA, Angels, Houston, Minnesota, Boston, and Cincinnati will be assigned to players on the right. Interesting idea about Kluber to the Nats, David. That's an interesting play because, again, the Nats are going to be looking for an arm to eat some innings. Here's the thing about Kluber. Are you sure he's going to eat innings for you? I worry Kluber gets in there and Kluber ends up, getting hurt, gives you 50 innings. When you signed him to try to eat innings. I think Washington needs to go in another direction. It's not on the board, David, but since you're here, I think Washington should get in the market for some of those other guys. Guys like Dylan Bundy, J.A. Happ, Danny Duffy, Michael Wacha. Those are names that are not on the board, but they would make sense for Washington, in my opinion. And if I were to pick one, I actually think it'd be funny to have Dylan Bundy, who came up with the Orioles, have him head down the Beltway and go to the Nats, and then you have Dylan Bundy and Steven Strasburg together in the same rotation. Would be fascinating to me. David, let me know what you think about that. Liam, I do. That is the thing about Strowman and Jays. That's a good point. The Jays might not want Strowman. Let's go to, and Padres on a one-year deal from Alex. That's an interesting idea for Kluber. That's a very interesting idea. Everybody hit the like if you have not yet. We are at 180 viewers in here, so you guys are awesome. I'm thrilled that you are spending your Monday with me here on the channel. Make sure to hit that like. We're at 44 likes with 174 watching. I'd like to try to jump that thing up to like 60. Is there a way to get 16 likes out of the next minute? If you haven't used your like yet, please do. Let's jump this thing up. It will only bring in more viewers. It'll grow the channel. It is a great way to show your support. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe. Stay close to the channel. We do this every day. We will be doing relief pitchers tomorrow. Tomorrow we jump into the relievers. We'll do the same thing. This player board, you guys seem to really be responding to it well. We did it for the outfielders. There are a ton of outfielders. We're doing it for the starters. We're going to do it for the relievers. So make sure to come back. So subscribe and hit the alert so you know when we go live. And if anything big happens, we will go live. Let's jump back into this. Alex Cobb, a decent season. I think he's going to go somewhere. I don't think any team that's really trying to get, how do I put this? I don't think anyone that's trying to make a serious run is going to go for him, because I don't know if they're going to feel like they can trust Alex Cobb. But he had a decent season. I think he can eat some innings. Alex Cobb feels like he could go somewhere. He's either a back-end guy with somebody like Boston or the White Sox, or he could be leaned on a little bit more with a team like the Reds. So I'm going to pick. Cincinnati's going to sign a starting pitcher. I mean, they're going to probably trade away Gray. They're going to probably trade away Castillo. They already let Miley go for nothing. So maybe Alex Cobb is the deal, a 1-year deal, maybe a 2-year deal. That way you have some, you could get something if you wanted to trade him. So I have Alex Cobb going to the Yankees. There's a little glitch. I glitch sometimes, guys. I apologize for that. So I have Cobb going to the Reds. I have no idea why I said Yankees there. I'm not looking at anything that has a Yankee logo on it. I don't know. And we jumped to 71 likes. We completely leapt through the 60s. You guys, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's keep this going. Anthony Descalfane. We talked about what he did with San Francisco. Nice little bounce back season. A career year for Anthony Descalfane. And we're going to put him somewhere. Where's Anthony Descalfane going to go? Comment in the chat. Where do you like Descalfane to land? Let's see, Anthony, you have Cobb back to the Rays. That's an interesting piece. That's a very interesting idea, Anthony. I like that idea. I'm going to keep him with the Reds for now, but I'm going to remember that. Cobb back to the Rays. Because the Rays, exactly, the similar thought process with Kluber. Descalfane to San Diego. Baseball Domain, good to see you in. Philly. Mark with the Reds. Simply Fog. Cubs will likely get Duffy, Matz, or Gray. Not a bad idea. What about Waka? What do you think about Waka? I have Waka Waka's not on the list, but I feel like Waka could be a play for the Cubs. Sam, you got him to the White Sox. Anthony to the Mets. Chimera to the Tigers. I think the Tigers are done adding, impact arms like this. If they add any more arms, the Tigers, it's going to be depth guys. It's going to be a sort of, the guys that will be competing for the 4 or 5 spots. Indian Rybra. Good to see you, Rybra. I think the Indians have so much depth at starting pitcher. I don't think that they make the move. Let's see. Up to 76 likes, David, with the count. I appreciate that. 76. Yeah, we got to get to 100. I would be, if you guys haven't used your like and we can jump this thing to 100, would be amazing. Ty, Rays could re-sign Waka, but I think Cobb would be better. How about Seattle for Anthony? That's an interesting play. Let's do this. Let's go in. Anthony Descalfane. I like him to the Red Sox. They need to make a move. They need a guy that adds some stability to that rotation, and Descalfane does that. You pair him with Eovaldi. You pair him with Sale. You have him with Pivetta, Houck, and Descalfane. And that's a decent 5. And I think they still probably go and maybe get one more to add some depth. But in terms of an impact guy, Descalfane feels like a good Boston play. And I see the Philly comments, Connor. Good point. Philly could be in the mix, sort of with the same thought process with the Red Sox. Get somebody that can add some stability. Right now I'm going to keep him with Boston, but I like the idea of Philly. I do like that, Connor. All right, let's get to Tyler Anderson. I think Tyler Anderson, comment where you think Tyler Anderson goes. I am going to put him on the Twins. The Twins need starting pitching. They are not going to go too far in because this thing could fall apart real quick. 2022, it could be June 1st. They could be under 500 and in teardown mode. So they're not going to go out and give any big contracts to any of the names on the left. Maybe they get in on Cranky or Kluber, but I think Cranky and Kluber will be looking to secure positions for them to win. And so it feels like Minnesota can go get Anderson on a 2-year deal, maybe a 3-year deal, 2 years with a club option for a third, which gives value if you need to trade him again. I hate to throw Tyler Anderson back into the trade machine, but it could happen. Liam D has subscribed. Liam, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to our community. I hope you enjoy your time here, and welcome to Ballcap Nation. Thank you. We got Angels. Angels are an interesting play. We do have an Angels pick for the Angels coming up here in a minute. There will be Seattle. I'll tell you this. Seattle, I think, because I looked at their rotation this morning. I looked at everybody's rotation this morning. I think Seattle gets a couple guys that are not on this list. I think they get some veteran players to match up with Sheffield and Gonzalez and Gilbert. I think they go out and bring back Paxton. I think James Paxton comes back. They signed him to a 1-year deal, then he got hurt, didn't have him at all. I think James Paxton comes back to Seattle. And I also think Seattle gets in the mix for Johnny Cueto. I think there's a play there. I think there was a play for Johnny Cueto to go sign a 1-year deal, add depth to the Seattle rotation. Let's get to John Gray. Where do you have John Gray going? Thinking about the teams that really, at this point, still need to add pitching, have a true need, and will probably spend a little bit of money. Angels still need some pitching. Houston needs some pitching. You could argue Philly. Where you guys got him? Where do you say for John Gray? Connor's got him to the Cubs. JH has him to the Jays. Jets fan in pain has him to Seattle. Zachary has him to the Padres. Matthew Carr to the Phillies. That's an interesting one. I have a pick for the Phillies coming up in a minute, and I feel like it's a match made in heaven. I'll get to it in a minute. It's not right here. Gray to the Rangers. Oh, that's interesting, Bryce. Back to Colorado, if not for the Cubs, from Simply Fog. Youngster to the Twins. Chimera, 5 years, 80 to the Cubs. I don't think John Gray gets more than Eduardo Rodriguez, though. Baseball Domain, you have him to the Padres. Back to the Rockies. Good to see you in Rockies now. Good to see you. Jay to the Giants. Mark to the Angels. All right, I'm going to give you mine. A couple of really interesting ones there. The Padres was interesting. Phillies is interesting. Let me know what you guys think about this. I think Houston because, again, Houston will spend a little bit of money, but they're not going to spend out like crazy. They still want to develop the pitchers they've got. John Gray slots in nicely. He's a veteran arm. 3, 4, 5-year deal. I feel like John Gray to Houston kind of fits in with their needs. Austin Moore has subscribed. Austin, thank you for the subscription. Thank you for joining our community. Welcome to Ballcap Nation. Austin, welcome. San Francisco is an interesting. We do have a couple. You see the names that are on the board. 2 of them are going to San Francisco. Let's go to Michael Pineda. Michael Pineda is a sneaky good pitcher. He's a guy where when he lines up against your team, you feel like you got it. Like, there's a win. It's Michael Pineda on the mound. There's no problem. And then all of a sudden, Michael Pineda fires 6 innings and you only get like 2 runs off him, and he's frustrating you out of your mind, just ready to turn off the game. So Michael Pineda is a decent pitcher, and I'm totally giving it away with my cursor. I have Pineda going to the Angels. I think Pineda is the second pickup that the Angels need. You could argue they could use 3, but the Angels in this scenario make the big pickup with Kershaw. Then they add depth to the rotation with Pineda, and you build a rotation with Kershaw, Ohtani, Pineda. You're going in the right direction with Pineda. So I like the Angels. I see a few others with the Angels. Let's see. Yes, David, talking about Gray. They might need a shortstop. They've got one in the minors they might give a shot to. We'll see. I'm forgetting his name. I was looking at it the other day. Wood and Hill to San Francisco. No, I'm not actually. I like Mark thinking about that. I like you trying to predict it, but nah, I do not. Alex Wood. We know the White Sox need some pitching if they're going to lose Rodon. I'm going to send Alex Wood to the White Sox. Gives them the lefty arm that Rodon had. I think Wood is a good pitcher. Wood is going to give them some good innings. They're looking for good quality pitchers that they don't have to spend an insane amount of money on. So I like Alex Wood to the White Sox. What do you guys think about Wood to the White Sox? I feel like, again, they don't need a top rotation guy. They got Giolito. They've got Giolito. They've got Cease. They've got Lynn. So they're kind of looking for a guy that fits into that 3, 4, 5 spot. And Alex Wood would be a great 4. Let's get to Rich Hill. Rich Hill, maybe one of the saltiest pitchers in the game. Where do you have Rich Hill? Simply, you like the idea of him to the White Sox? Wood to the Rangers? Yeah, the Rangers are going to do something. If you look at the Rangers rotation, they don't actually have a need at starting pitcher. They've got like 6 or 7 guys that they can head into spring training with and figure out their 5. So they don't have a big need. So I don't think they spend the money. And if they look at themselves, if they're true to themselves, they will know we're not winning the West this year. So the Rangers will probably get, if they do anything, a veteran just to eat some innings. We're on Hill. Where do you like Hill? Cubs will not take anyone. Here's what I think the Cubs do. Because we have had a couple Cubs fans. I like the Cubs to get Michael Wacha. I don't think the Cubs get anybody on this list. They already got Wade Miley. I think they get Michael Wacha. There are still some good names that are just not on the board. I think Michael Wacha could go to the Cubs. That seems like a fit to me. So, saltiest pitcher in baseball is Rich Hill, and I just feel like him in Philly would be a match made in heaven. I love the idea of Rich Hill to the Phillies. He's still a good pitcher. He's getting up there in age. He's old, but I like Rich Hill to the Phillies. Adds the depth, lengthens out that rotation, and the Phillies have a chance. Let's see, the Phillies then, you pair him. I'm trying to remember the Phillies. The Phillies rotation right now off the top of my head. You've got Nola. You've got Wheeler. So you got Wheeler, Nola, Eflin, Gibson, and Suarez. And you throw in Rich Hill. Love the idea of Hill. Yes, exactly. Philly's like a little bit of attitude. Philly fans would love Rich Hill. Just for the fact that Rich Hill and that fan base would get along so well. I love the idea of Rich Hill going to the Phillies. Where do you have Steven Matz going, everybody? Let's move on to Steven Matz. Where do you have Steven Matz? If you've been paying attention, you might already have an inkling on where I am going to put him. Where do you have Steven Matz going? And guys, we are at 83 likes. We are 17 away from 100. If you haven't used your like yet, help us get to 100. This is your stream, guys. This is your situation. I do this for you guys. You are Ball Cap Nation. Let's get your stream to 100 likes. We are so incredibly close right now. Match to the Angels. Brady, you're sad that Erod is leaving. It's a tough break. They're going to have to make a move somewhere. They have to replace him now. San Fran, the Jays, Texas, San Diego, Red Sox for Steven Matz. The Phillies, Miami. Bryson, I don't think Miami is going to have that need. I don't think they'll spend that money there. I don't see them doing that. Again, hit that like if you haven't yet. We're 14 away from 100. We gotta hit that 100. All right, I am going. We got Texas. He really fits in a lot of locations, and I think he's going to go somewhere where he can capitalize on his 2021 season and still have a chance to win. I am going to send him to, and I did a bad job by not keeping two of those available. I'm going to send him to San Francisco. I think Steven Matz goes to San Francisco, gets a good deal, has a chance to win, goes out there, can get a 4 or 5 year deal from San Fran. I think, and we know San Francisco right now, the only starter they have on their depth chart is Brandon Webb. That's it. It's Webb. Webb cannot pitch every day. So I have them bringing Gausman back. I have them signing Steven Matz. So I have Matz going to San Francisco. The Blue Jays losing out. I think San Francisco will pay more than the Blue Jays will, because if the Blue Jays bring back Robbie Ray like we have them here in this scenario, then Steven Matz is, a little less. You don't need him as much if they bring Robbie Ray back. If the Blue Jays don't bring Robbie Ray back, they make a full court press for Steven Matz, because if the Blue Jays have Ray in that rotation, along with Barrios and Ryu and Manoah, and they got to give Nate Pearson a shot to start. There's your 5. And then on top of it, the Blue Jays have more players behind them that they can give options to. Thomas Hatch is another guy who will go into spring training trying to earn a spot in that rotation. So Steven Matz starts to, if the Jays bring back Robbie Ray, Steven Matz is a little less of a need. Mark, I think Matz ends up, we looked at it earlier, I think he's in that 3 for 50. Yeah, Logan Webb. Who did I say? Joe Webb. I think I said Joe Webb is a backup quarterback for the Bills, right? Logan Webb. Nate Pearson looked better late last year. Nate Pearson looked like he was getting it together. What do you mean the Giants don't need Steven Matz? Amori. Have you... Yes, they do. They definitely do. They need 4 starting pitchers. They need 4 starting pitchers. The Giants need. All right, Willy Peralta. Let's move on to Willy Peralta. I think Nate Pearson's going to get it together, though, guys. Let's move on to Willy Peralta. Willy Peralta is actually... He was on my video of under the radar free agents, because Willy Peralta in 2021 put together a nice season. And, when you're looking for a guy that isn't going to cost a ton of money, but is going to give you some good, Willy Peralta, a 3.07 ERA for the Tigers in 2021. 18 starts, 3.07 ERA. So, listen, is he going to strike out a ton of guys? No. But Willy Peralta had a nice season and is really a depth play for pretty much anybody. I am going to give Willy Peralta, because they spend a lot of money on Gausman, they spent a lot of money on Matz. They are not going to let the window close. I think the Giants go out and get Willy Peralta, a move that should remind Giants fans of the Descalfane move last year. Go out and get a guy that can be a good quality pitcher and give you some innings, get you some wins, maybe turn a career year around in 2022. So there we go. We got Scherzer to the Dodgers. We got Gausman, Matz, and Peralta to the Giants. Rodon to the Cardinals. We got Kershaw and Pineda to the Angels. Verlander to the Yankees. Ray to the Jays. The Braves get Cranky. The Mets bring back Strowman. Kluber to the Rays. Cobb to the Reds. Descalfane to the Red Sox. Tyler Anderson to the Twins. Gray to the Astros. Alex Wood to the White Sox. Rich Hill to the Phillies. In our player board predictions, what do you guys think? You made a lot of compelling arguments and brought up a lot of options and scenarios that I had not thought about. So there's a few on there that I'm going to remember moving forward. Guys, we are at 98 likes. We need 2 more likes to hit that magical number 100. 2 more likes. If you haven't used your like yet, smash that thing. Move the chat out of the way if you're on your phone and hit that like. And don't forget to subscribe. Again, if you're new, we do this every day. Tomorrow will be relief pitchers. Tomorrow we will be doing the relievers. I wonder if I can move this. Hold on, I'm going to try something, guys. Let's go half and half. Is this possible? No, it is not possible. Oh, wait, I'm moving the wrong thing. I want to leave this up for anybody that hops in and is like, why aren't you guys talking about pitchers anymore? I'll be like, oh, it's right there. Hold on, why is this? Nah, it's not going to work. All right, never mind. Here's the thing. We are not done, and we are over 100. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. 103. I love it. And again, we're talking about this before I take the player board down. This changes if really one of these guys goes somewhere else, right? If John Gray goes to Boston, that's going to change things. If Verlander goes to the Blue Jays, that changes things. If Matz goes to the Giants, that changes things. This thing changes almost the whole thing if one of these guys goes somewhere else. You know, if Strowman goes to the Phillies, I mean, maybe they still get Rich Hill, but I don't think they have that need anymore. The whole is a domino effect that will take place if that happens. We are going to talk trades next. That is the other big piece of this, is the potential trades that could go down. There are a lot of pitchers that could get dealt. Let me move something here. All right. So let's do this. And we're going to take down. Oh, wait a minute. I need to pad this up here. Sorry, guys. There we go. All right. So we can take down the player board. We come back to the new recording situation, whatever it is. Again, if you weren't with us at the beginning, things have changed. I have no idea what to do with my hands now. The camera's in a new spot. Everything's in a new spot. New thing behind. We moved over the weekend in a new house, a new zip code, same area code, but in a new spot. So that's how my weekend went. We moved. If you guys had a good weekend, let me know. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Let's see, Bryson, you really want the Jays to get Gausman. That just depends on what happens with Robbie Ray. I think that really depends. There are teams that have to do something else first. Right now, it's interesting because we heard the Blue Jays were linked to Eduardo Rodriguez. Eddie Rodriguez was linked to the Angels, the Blue Jays, and the Tigers. And the Tigers jumped. So that kind of gives you a feel for what the Blue Jays are thinking. Do they think they can't bring back Robbie Ray? Because if they had signed Eduardo Rodriguez, there's no way Robbie Ray was coming back, right? So that is an interesting piece that we can dive into more. Let's talk trades, because that is the other thing here. And in my opinion, there are about 5 starting pitchers that are sort of, if the trade alarm was blaring, that we would have in full effect right now. The very first one, Sonny Gray. I think there is a real chance that Sonny Gray gets traded. The Reds, they're looking to shed money. They're not necessarily looking to win. So we look at teams, if they can't get it done via free agency, we talk about, the Red Sox could use a couple starting pitchers, quite frankly. And if they get Anthony Descalfane, they might want to get something else. Or if they miss out on Descalfane, they might want to go the trade route. So any of the teams that we talked about, if we did not give your team one of those top players, maybe there is a trade to be had. Maybe there's a good, and Nicholas, good call on Frankie Montas too. Oakland is everybody. There's 2 teams this offseason that feel like everybody's available, and it's Cincinnati and it's Oakland. It just seems like moves are going to happen. So Sonny Gray could fit in a lot of places. Toronto, if they cannot get a Robbie Ray deal done. If the Blue Jays get Matz, but they don't get Ray, they could still get in the mix for Sonny Gray. Teams that could use him, we know Sonny Gray will not end up with the Yankees, but maybe the Mets. What does a team have to offer? So where do you think Sonny Gray goes? Comment in the chat. Where do you think Sonny Gray winds up? And while you guys do that, I'm going to pull something up real quick behind the scenes. But let me know, where do you think, I'm going to read them, where do you think Sonny Gray gets traded? Or just quite frankly, if you want your team to get him, put your team down in the chat. Let me know, where do you think he's going to go? The Cubs are interesting. Sonny Gray's doesn't cost that much money. That's one of the reasons why that's kind of interesting. What else we got? Seattle, interesting. Stays in Cincy or Seattle. Houston. You like Gray to the Giants? Yeah. See, that's the thing. The Giants, we talk about what the Giants need. If they cannot get exactly what they need, the Giants do have some pieces to trade. And I really don't think they are going to want the window to close. I know they got a lot to do this offseason. They got to re-sign Belt. They got a decision to make with Chris Bryant. They have a ton of starting pitching free agents, but I just don't see them letting the window close. You don't know when that window is going to open up again. Sonny Gray, a lot of places. Cincinnati and Oakland should be relegated. I mean, it happens every year. There's always a team or two you're like, oh, here they go. Last year it was the Cubs. Last year it was the Cubs are going to sell everybody off. Marco Enzio, Mets will trade Mauricio Ginn, Dom Smith, J.D. Davis, and Khalil Lee to Oakland for Sean Manaea and Matt Chapman. Let me think about that for a second. Mauricio Ginn, Dom Smith, Davis, and Lee. I don't think they need to give that much up. I think they could get that deal done without including... I think you can pull Lee off that deal. I think you could go Mauricio, Ginn, Smith, and Davis for Manaea and Chapman. Marco, I think you could do that. I think you could pull Lee out of that deal. Houston is a very interesting mix. Twins could as well. The Twins could trade for him, and then if things fall apart during the season, could trade him away again. All right, let's get to the next player that could get dealt, and it's maybe the more the appealing name, the guy everybody wants, and it's Luis Castillo. Despite a bad year last year, Luis Castillo really a down season in 2021. I know from firsthand experience, I had him as one of my fantasy starting pitchers, and I didn't feel comfortable starting him. 8-16. Now, he did have enough good quality starts towards the end of the year to get his ERA down under 4, but just barely 3.98 ERA for Luis Castillo. 8-16. Oh, so led the league in walks, 75. Just lost all control. I cannot. Here's the thing with Luis Castillo. The time for the Reds to have traded him and gotten the big haul was last year. That was the time to trade Luis Castillo. And it was a major setback. I think he's still talented. The control, the arbitration, everything is still in good shape for a trade partner. But Luis Castillo is not as appealing as he was. But I think he still could be on the move. And again, maybe a team doesn't have to give up as much. Last year, we heard that the Reds wanted to get Gleyber Torres in return from the Yankees. And then the trade talks for that fell apart. I don't even know if either of those teams would still do that trade today. We have Castillo to Toronto. Again, where do you guys think he's going to go? Ty, Castillo to Miami. So they would obviously be giving up a prospect or two, some of their young pitching maybe, to get Castillo. Because, Miami's rotation is looking decent as it is. So we got Castillo as a potential trade piece. Castillo and Gray, there's a lot of options here for Castillo. Toronto is an interesting idea. Unfortunately, the Yankees get Castillo. Maybe they pick up the phone, they try to make that deal again. Could be the Yankees. Let's talk about where is he? Here we go. Oakland and Sean Manaea. It was mentioned with Frankie Montas earlier, but Manaea, Montas, the situation they could be on the move. What Sean Manaea staying in the Bay Area, going to San Francisco. Doesn't sound that crazy. Roman, there it is. I feel like you could have Manaea. Any of these pitchers could fit with the San Francisco Giants. The Giants could swing a trade. The question is, where can they make a trade and give up the least? They might have to give up a little bit too much to get Castillo. They could probably get Manaea and not have to give up a ton. Baseball Domain, Mets for Manaea. That's a good move. That's a good move. Mets or Giants? That's a good move. Manaea to the Padres. The Bob Melvin connection. That's Alex. Great call there. You could see the Padres, whether it's Manaea or Montas, going and getting that deal. Chimera, Olsen and Manaea to the Cubs. It's an interesting idea. That's really that's not a bad idea. A's need a shortstop. This is from Dan. Elvis Andrus is the incumbent. How about a Jays deal involving Espinal, Smith, and Anthony K for Montas or Manaea and Kemp? Espinal, Smith, and K for Manaea. I would do that all day. Because I do think Toronto can address the situation in that outfield or utility. There's so many utility guys out there. So what Espinal gave the Blue Jays, they can find in 10 different guys on the free agent market and not to have to spend a lot of money. Hold on 1 second, guys. And I'm back. Okay, so we got Manaea. I also think the Nats could trade Patrick Corbin. I feel like that is a move. It's a big contract. The Nats are not going to win anything of any relevancy anytime soon. So Patrick Corbin, it would be smart if they could deal Corbin and get any kind of prospect in return for Patrick Corbin. Manaea to the Cards. Savage, that's a good one. Manaea to the Rays. Ooh, that's interesting as well. Yeah, these are the guys. These 5. Manaea, Corbin, Gray, Castillo. I got one more. I think there's a lot. And Manaea, Michael, remind me. Any other Jays fans, remind me. I feel like Manaea and Toronto, there was trade rumors in the past couple of years on that deal. Jason Ritchie, Giants for Corbin. I like that deal. I like that idea. If you're talking Giants for Corbin, I like that idea. That is a fair deal. Wouldn't have to give up a ton because they're taking on some of that salary, but they're in more of a position to win, so it's a little bit easier to pay the guys and to part with that money if you're winning. The Nats are not going to be winning. The Nats need to clear up as much money. Start saving money now to bring back Soto. Corbin to Toronto could be a similar deal as Ray or Matz. Yeah, would like to see Corbin. Maybe Pete Walker could work his magic on Corbin. Corbin has had some really good seasons. He's also been inconsistent. So could Pete Walker get him to be more consistent? Savage, you like the White Sox to have that as a depth piece? Yeah, I don't think Corbin would cost a lot in a trade package heading back to Washington because of his contract, because of his salary. You could probably get Corbin for not a lot. Maybe your 20th prospect. Ty likes Corbin to the Yankees. That could happen. All right. And then we have one more. A bonus one, if you will. Trevor Bauer. Do the Dodgers trade Trevor Bauer? Can they trade Trevor Bauer is the question. I put out my long shot trade video. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. It was basically me just thinking of trades that probably won't happen, but if you think about it long enough, it kind of makes sense. Bauer, what do they do? Dodger fans, do you ever want to see him throw another pitch for your team? Where is he going to go? What do they do? He's got a player option. That's what makes it hard. He's got the player option. I think you could trade him to the Angels. I think the Angels, there was talk of the Angels being one of the final teams last year. There was a problem with his relationship with Mickey Callaway. Mickey Callaway is gone. The Angels, we're looking at teams that are desperate for pitching. If Bauer wanted to be on the West Coast, wanted to be in California, the Angels are San Francisco's not going to do it. Oakland is obviously not going to do it. They're getting rid of stuff. The LA Angels of Anaheim are what makes sense. Trade Bauer to the Angels. Marco, we had Houston for John Gray. Reunite him with Garrett Cole with the Yankees, right? That would be something. I think Bauer, if you're going to try to get out of that contract, you trade him to the Angels, and you get basically hardly anything back. I think you're sending cash with the deal. Bauer and cash to the Angels, and I picked their number 2 prospect, which, listen, for the Angels, the number 2 prospect, I don't even know if that guy's ranked in the top 100 in all of baseball. The Angels system is nothing to beam about. So I have Bauer going to the Angels for their number 2 prospect. I think it was Bachman. Somebody named Bachman was my deal. I just think you got to get him out of town. Dan, but there's going to be one or two desperate teams. J-Man, I don't even think Baltimore would take him. I really think there is a small group. I think there is that Baltimore could afford it, but they wouldn't spend the money. Bauer it just makes sense for the Angels. Just think about it. They have some big contracts, but the Dodgers are going to have to pay. Even if the Dodgers pay for 2022, they pay his salary for 2022 for that deal to happen. I think the Dodgers would do that. So you send Bauer to the Angels, and that's how it gets done. You get an okay prospect back only because you're going to pay that 2022 salary, but then in 2023, if Bauer opts in again, the Angels are on the hook for that. Mike, the baseball guy, trade Corbin to the local homeless shelter for a pair of used socks. He's not that bad. Patrick Corbin has had a couple of nice seasons. Now I got to pull up Patrick Corbin's numbers. He's not that bad. That's fun. That's a good line, though. I like that. Patrick Corbin, in 2019, a 3.25 ERA. 2018, a 3.15 ERA. But the problem is, it gets ugly, right? Last year, 5.82, 4.66 the year before that. But he's shown the ability to bounce back. He had the 2013, his first All-Star appearance, a 3.41 ERA. Then he had another good year, got injured. But then 2015 was okay. 16 kind of fell apart. ERA went above 5, but he bounced back. So he shows the ability to bounce back. That's what you need from Corbin. Let's see. Nicholas Powell, your possible trade for Miami. Pablo Lopez, Luis Brinson, and an outfield prospect for Wilson Contreras. Lopez. Yeah, I think that could work. Savage, I like Bachman, especially with the Dodgers development people. Right. It just feels like the move. It feels like the move. Mile high. Corbin is making too much money. Corbin, that's the point. And that's why whoever trades for him is not going to be giving up a ton. You can Washington maybe even cover some of that salary, send some cash in the deal to get the deal done for Corbin. So we've got the potential trades. Bauer could get traded. Corbin could get traded. Sonny Gray, Luis Castillo, Sean Manaea. It goes on and on. And then what's interesting is sort of after those guys, or if any of those guys get pulled off the market, there's not a really good talent pool to pull from, in my opinion. I think you'll have some guys that, you'll have the trade and you have to go and look up who the pitcher was that was just traded. Patrick Corbin overpaid, but the Washington Nationals were in that mode where they were trying to win the World Series when they went and got him. And they ended up winning the World Series that year. 2019 was their year. They went for it. They Whether they knew that they weren't going to bring Rendon back from the start. I mean, they knew they had to make a tough decision between Strasburg and Rendon. They went all in. They pushed their chips all in 2019. That was the year, remember, if any Nats fans might remember this, if you were following along, they got that deal done for Corbin early, before the Bryce Harper situation had been resolved or figured out. They went and spent money on Corbin, which sort of signaled, okay, Bryce Harper's not going back to Washington. So that whole situation with Corbin, they paid him a lot of money because they were going for it. Listen, his ERA went 3.25, 4.66, and 5.82 the last 3 years. That has to turn around. And there are some pitching coaches that could probably get him back on track. I believe that P. Walker could get Patrick Corbin back on track. If the Blue Jays, and Jays fans, if you're wondering what would we have to give up, Kevin Smith. Not a high-profile prospect because of the salary. Now, that's the thing. They'd be taking on the salary, and that might not be something that you want to do. What kind of trade package do you think Edwin Diaz would bring back? I don't think Diaz is going to get traded, but probably a prospect somewhere around the number 10 spot. I think you probably want somebody that's on a major league roster, right, with some upside, and then your prospects somewhere around that 10, 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. If Dodgers miss out on Scherzer or Kershaw, they got Robbie Ray. That's the beauty right now, is you've got fallback options, but those fallback options will disappear quickly. Let's see. Did the Tigers get a good deal signing Rodriguez? I believe they did. Again, we put that up earlier. Eduardo Rodriguez, 5 years, $77 million. I like the deal. I think he's entering his age 29 season. So those 5 years will take you to age 34. Number one, I don't think they overpaid. If you look at what he did in 18 and 19, he is a number 2 starter, number 3 at the worst. And you're only paying him he's age 34. You didn't have to pay him knowing that the last couple of years of the deal were going to be a waste. You maximized your money. You didn't have to use a ton of money to begin with. I love the deal. I think it's a great deal. Youngster, yes, I am a Jays fan. I've been a Jays fan since I picked a team to root for way back in the day. Mets should trade Diaz and sign Iglesias. They will never win. Yeah. Again, Marcos. So when I put my thought processes together, I think about what's a clean move, what can happen, what's clean. That's I don't think that's clean, right? If you have to do something to then do something else, you are hoping that another team doesn't swoop in and get him. Sure, that would be an upgrade. I agree with you 100%. But there's a handful of teams that need closer, and we will be talking about the relievers tomorrow. We will do that tomorrow. Iglesias could go a handful of places where it's a clean move. We need a closer. Let's go sign him. Versus the Mets, who are going to look at it and they're like, yeah, it'd be great to get an upgrade over Diaz, but we can't go out and sign Iglesias if we don't have a suitor for Diaz. It isn't clean. Youngster, Jays fan from the UK. I'm glad you're here, man. Thank you for finding your way to this channel all the way from the other side of the pond, right? Let's see. Why Jays used Smith this season? Why did they bring up Otto Lopez? There's a couple guys that, and Riley Adams. You give him a shot. And now I think Lopez only got one at bat, but you bring him up. Maybe it's a test run so another team can see how he handles Major League pitching. It was a very small sample size, but so was Riley Adams. And, they were able to turn – I understand what I'm about to say sucks. They turned Riley Adams into Brad Hand, which sucks. But take Brad Hand out of the equation – they turned Riley Adams into a back-end reliever. It happened to be Brad Hand, who yet again sucked. You could argue Brad Hand cost the Blue Jays a shot at the playoffs. So, yeah. Chelsea, you are a Jays fan from Japan. Are you seriously in Japan right now? So we've got a great market, a great situation, I think, that could roll here with the pitching. Mile High 6, you are not a fan of Kyle Smith or Kevin Smith. All right. Let's see. Marco, Blue Jays would be a good... I don't want him, though. I don't want to do that. I wouldn't do it. That's the problem with Diaz. I think a lot of franchises are in that mode. I don't think I wouldn't want to do that. I would not do that. Hoagland and Beltre wouldn't do it. For Diaz, I would give up Kevin Smith and Santiago Espinal, and then Patrick Murphy or something. I would not give a good. I wouldn't do it. What are the chances of Verlander signing with Detroit? Wayne, I think 0, especially with this Eduardo Rodriguez deal today. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that the Tigers have now put all their money into the pitching. They need to improve the lineup now. Verlander is going to get, in my opinion, 20 to 25 million, and I don't think the Tigers should do that this year. And again, yes, Diaz is not an upgrade over Romano. Just reading your chat, guys. Hand, Delise, Chatwood. Yeah, those 3 really hurt. Really hurt the Blue Jays. So we've got the pitchers. And again, remember, we will be doing relief pitchers tomorrow. We will dive into that market, the relievers, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun because we have the closers, because we have Iglesias. We can talk trades. We can dive into a Diaz trade more. So there's a lot that we can talk about. Romano was sneaky good outside of Blue Jay Nation. Blue Jay Nation, we love him, right? Romano is a beast, and Romano doesn't have the national awareness that I think he will soon. Because he's great. Do you think Detroit gets their guy? Listen, I've been saying from the start, Correa to Detroit, I'm going to live on that hill until he signs somewhere else or until another move happens that makes me think they're out of it. I don't think signing Eduardo Rodriguez takes them out of the market for some of these shortstops. Kenley's available. Exactly. Blue Jays need middle relief guys. I don't know. We can dive more into it tomorrow, but I really liked the Blue Jays with Simber, with Richards, with Merriweather, with Miza. I feel like they have a lot of the pieces, and you have Romano at the back. I think they have the pieces. Maybe there's one more guy. If Nate Pearson does not get a rotation gig, if he's coming out of the bullpen, because let's say the Jays do bring back both Ray and Matz, then Pearson's probably in the bullpen. He's an arm that towards the end of the year they trusted. And listen, I was starting to fall out on Nate Pearson. But how he pitched towards the end of last year, I jumped right back. I'm back in on Nate. I think good things are coming from Nate. Yeah, the Tigers have money. Sniper. Jays and Reds. Castillo, Winker, and Akiyama for Pearson, Grichuk, and McGuire. I would do that. Winker is awesome. Are you sure you don't mean Senzel? Winker was great. I don't think the Reds would do that. Dulcimeris, good to see you. And Jays could add 2 guys to go with the 5-6 pen they have. Youngster, we did get our relievers sorted out. Yeah, I mean, and Simber and Richards are both arbitration guys, so they're coming back. Jays could get someone cheap like Shreve, Clippard, or Shisek. I love Shreve. If you paired him with Miza, those 2 lefty arms, I would love that. And then you have the guys who we were going to, who, whether they're in the organization, whether they're free agents, and it'll be easy to get them back, guys like Saucedo or Snead. Those guys come back, it's real easy. And Anthony Kay, maybe Anthony Kay can develop into a lefty guy. Yeah, Akiyama would not really fit. You'd only get Akiyama if you're fully expecting to then swing him off and trade him away. I don't think that Glasnow will leave Tampa. There's been a couple comments about Glasnow and going somewhere else. I don't see that. JH Sports, I'd love to talk about the Bills, but I think our viewer number would be cut in half. I think half of the people would leave. One of these days, we'll get some Bills stuff going, but not right now. Bills, big win yesterday, by the way. Go Bills. I believe he does, Savage. I do think so. I think he's got a homer. Shreve is the old Yankee cards guy. He is, right, he came up with the Yankees and had a nice year with Pittsburgh last year. Scott Alexander with the Tigers. He's if you're talking about that Alexander, right? I mean he'll start, he'll open for you, he'll give you 3 innings, but with the rotation they have now, they can move him to the bullpen. Oh, you're talking okay, the Dodgers Alexander. Good call there. He'll be a nice pickup for somebody. JH Sports, the Bills channel, quite frankly, I started it thinking I would have the time to do it, and then I didn't have the time to do it. I expect to at some point, though. I hope to at some point. And, you know, some of this stuff is trial and error and figuring it out. At some point, I would like to have something Bills related, and maybe it'll be on this channel. Maybe it'll be on the Bills channel. Maybe it'll be a 1 day a week, you know, Sunday morning we'll talk Bills. Somehow, some way, I'll find the time and we'll figure it out. Because I certainly could talk Bills all day long. I was a Bills fan in the 90s. It was fun until end of January, early February. And then it sucked. Bad. Tyler Alexander is in Detroit. Scott Alexander is with the Dodgers. Good call, Quarantine. Thank you for correcting me on that. So we've got, really with the rest of this week, let you guys know what I'm thinking. Got the starters today. We got the relievers tomorrow. We have not covered the DH position. We will do that on Wednesday. DH is sneaky interesting because the National League, there could be half the league adding that position to their lineup. So we're going to dive into the DH position on Wednesday, and that'll close out these offseason outlooks that we have been doing. And I think that Thursday and Friday will kind of be up in the air. We'll kind of figure out what we're going to do. The Bills are really good. The Bills really let me down when they lost to Jacksonville. That kind of, drove me crazy, but they are a good, dangerous team, certainly in the mix. Dulcimeris, I'm bummed the Jays let Baker and Harris go. They were top guys in the AAA pen. They were 96 mile an hour righties like Thornton, but weren't hittable. Weren't horrible like Thornton. Stroh to the Angels, Jose, that's certainly a possibility. We talk about, I have Kershaw going to the Angels. If Kershaw does not go to the Angels, then I have, I guess you call Strowman as my backup, if you will. Strowman would be my pick for the Angels if the Angels do not get Clayton Kershaw. If Clayton Kershaw goes to San Francisco or somehow winds up back in LA, or if Clayton Kershaw retires. Is YouTube my full-time job? It is my part-time job. The other part-time job I have is being a stay-at-home dad. I'm a stay-at-home father from when the kid... I'm a stay-at-home dad from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then from 2:30 until 8 p.m. And I mix this in, outside of those times. But this is, this is what I'm doing. Harley, good to see you win. Has the Detroit Tigers done anything yet besides the Barnhart trick? Yeah, this is a big day for the Tigers. Eduardo Rodriguez, the first big name off the board. Eduardo Rodriguez, 5 years, $77 million. Maybe setting the market for the other pitchers. That's one thing that, I don't want to forget to talk about, but that element, 5 years, $77 million, will kind of set the tone for some of these pitchers. And on top of it, it gives you an idea as to what might be going on with the Blue Jays and the Angels, because they were the other two teams in on Eduardo Rodriguez. Did the Blue Jays being in on Erod, did that mean that they don't think they can bring Robbie Ray back? Because Jays fans, if it broke this morning that the Blue Jays signed Erod, Robbie Ray's gone. So that is an interesting piece to that. I don't think it's that bad. I really don't. He's in his age 29 season, and we looked at Rodriguez. If you're thinking about what he did in 2021, yeah. But look at his 18 and 19. $18 and 19 for Jansen. We're good. Sorry, if you hear me go quiet for a minute, it's because I'm hacking my lungs out. I'm fighting a cold today. So I appreciate you dealing with a little groggy throat, random drops in audio because I go off and I'm hacking up a lung. I appreciate that. And guys, awesome job today. 120 likes. I appreciate that very much. That really is that's good big time stuff. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Where do I think Matz will go? We did talk about we did do the whole player board earlier. This is how it kind of played out. Where's the player board? Come on back. Oh, I think it's because I have it minimized. There it is. So this is where we did this earlier from about the 20-minute mark to the hour mark, I want to say it was. These are my predictions. Scherzer to the Dodgers, Gausman to the Giants, Rodon, Cardinals, Kershaw, and Pineda to the Angels. I also had Matz and Peralta going to the Giants, joining Gausman. Verlander to the Yankees, Ray back to Toronto, Cranky to Atlanta, Strowman back to the Mets, Kluber to Tampa, Cobb to the Reds, Descalfane to the Red Sox, Anderson to the Twins, Gray to the Astros, Alex Wood to the White Sox, which is a good signing for the White Sox. Alex Wood is a good pitcher. Rich Hill to the Phillies. So we had that as the sort of the prediction part of the show. Let's see. Harley, when the contract's up, he'll be 34 years old, and that's the beauty of that. I think I love that Erod contract is done at 34, and he doesn't go to 36 or 37 when the last couple of years of that would be trash. Benjamin, don't you love the idea of Rich Hill in Philly? Like I just, his personality, he's a good pitcher. Put him with the Phillies. I love it. I think the fans would love him. Anthony, what are your thoughts on the trade scenario between the Jays and Miami? Marlins get Marrero, Groshans, and Martinez. Toronto gets Alcantara, Lopez, and Rogers. That's a crazy trade. I would not do it. Marrero's our catch. I wouldn't do it. I like Lopez. I like Alcantara. If I'm doing that deal, I want Sixto Sanchez in the deal. I wouldn't do that deal. Marco, you have the Mets passing on Strowman. I mean, they offered him a qualifying offer. They didn't give him the long-term deal. They could still bring him back, though. I think the Mets need the pitching, and I don't see. And the reason I have the Mets getting Strowman is because I don't see them getting Ray. I don't think they get Verlander. I don't think Kershaw goes to the East Coast. Rodon does not feel like a Mets move to me. Neither does Gausman. Maybe Scherzer, but I think Scherzer wants to stay out west. Just thinking about the names and where everybody else was placed, I do think the Mets. So here's the deal. I'll say this. If the Mets don't get Strowman, we talked about those trade fits, Castillo, Gray, Minaya, players like that, I think they could get in the mix. I think they could get in the trade mix for one of those players. I do like Alcantara. Listen, Alcantara is a beast. But Alcantara is going to be, let's see, his salary situation is really why I know he's not getting paid right now, but he will be getting paid soon. Let's see. Let me open him up. Sandy Alcantara. Beautiful thing, guys. I hope you guys are noticing it too. I don't think we're having much lagging. I'm on, in the new house, we upgraded the internet speed, and it seems to be working well. Doesn't seem to be dragging as much with at least on my end, when I'm opening up stuff, trying to do things behind the scenes. So Alcantara 4.5 this year. At least that's the estimate. So he's entering his arbitration years. Alcantara is. I wouldn't give up that package of players. Benjamin, we think there's going to be one, but they got to finalize that CBA, and that's where we'll find out. We think there will be one, but they got to figure that out. All right, guys. Here's what we're going to do. We're doing relievers tomorrow. We're doing the DH on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, there's a big question mark on what we're going to do because the offseason outlooks will be done. But we will have a show Thursday and Friday, same time. So make sure to subscribe. Hit the alerts. No drag at all. Right on, Mark. Good. I think we were having some issues at the old place, and we're doing better here, which is great. So we will be doing relievers tomorrow. Starters are now done in the books. Maybe we'll do a starters 2.0. I don't know. There's a lot of other names we didn't get to. Again, on my notes, Waka, I think, could go to the Cubs. Brett Anderson feels like a KC move. Bundy to the Nats. Kikuchi feels like could be a Milwaukee move. Happ to Colorado. Duffy to Baltimore. Seattle, Cueto, and Paxton. I had stuff I didn't even get to, but it's because there's so many starters. Maybe we'll do a starting pitcher 2.0 or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Some rando reporter said Correa. Maybe. We'll watch it. Listen, guys, here's the other beautiful thing about the channel. Something like that happens, if it goes live, as long as I'm not like en route picking the kids up from school or something like that, we'll be back live, and I want you guys to come back and give me your take, give me your comments. Let me know what you think about that. Here my hands go again. I literally need to chain them to the desk, but I don't know what to do with them. All of a sudden, my hands are visible. Dan, thank you for that. I appreciate that, guys. Again, if you have not hit the like yet, make sure to hit the like on the way out. We have a great like count already. If you're here, you hit the like. Thank you for doing that. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. Stay close to the channel. Again, we'll be back tomorrow to do relief pitchers. We're doing DH on Wednesday. We're going live when any of these big moves happen. Rodriguez, I thought about it, but we had this show, so we didn't go live with Erod because we had this show coming up. But for the big names, certainly the top 10 free agents, the top 15 free agents, we will be going live when those deals get down. So make sure you hit the alerts so you can get that. And obviously, there's uploads. We're keeping with the uploads. We have the 5 long shot trades video up. We have prospects that could get traded this offseason. We have a ton of stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy your time with the channel. And thank you to everybody who was here live. Youngster, Mark, Dulcimeris, Anthony, Marco, Dan, Savage. Who else? Benjamin, Mike, the baseball guy. Let's see. There's some talk about that with the Correa thing. Listen, if Correa signs in 5 minutes, I'll be back on in 5 minutes, okay? So, and that would be great. That would be great. Listen, one of these days, soon, I think we're going to end up firing up some of the watch streams. When it looks like a deal is imminent, when it looks like a deal is about to go down, we'll go live in advance of the deal, and we'll do a whole watch. We did the watch for George Springer last year. That was fun, and we were live when the Springer deal was announced. That was a lot of fun. So, we'll do that. Anyway, I'm rambling. You guys, enjoy the rest of your Monday. Again, thank you guys for being here, for coming in, for spending your time. You could have been doing 100 other things, but you spent your time here. I appreciate that. Make sure to, again, hit the like on the way out. Subscribe if you are new and just finding the channel. We will be back tomorrow to talk relief pitchers. And again, if one of those top 10 or top 15 free agent signs, we'll be back live at the drop of a hat. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody. Thank you again for spending your time here. Thank you for supporting the channel and all of that. Appreciate it. Love it. Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.